ain't gonna give in now. I just gotta live this now. I'm gonna be man, I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in their ring when I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the win. Cause I am just up on the journey. Know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors, rise. Why do I keep bringing up October? I'm going to show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic. They're driving us into a deep recession. But here's the thing. They're changing the language so the public doesn't see it. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. Now I'm going to put in the pinned comment down below, the Warrior Academy. Warriors, access to my portfolio, exit strategy, access to my whole crypto research team, 7 calls per week. Remember, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. There's so much information out there that we brought everything siloed into one information spot. Subconscious mind programming, goal setting, vision board creation, how to create the wealth mindset, nutrition, exercise, and the 5 pillars of wealth, and our crypto team supporting you into this quantum financial system. There's nothing like it in human history. We'll see you on the other side. All right, let's dive right into this, Warriors. So Wall Street says a recession is coming. Consumers say it's already here. So Wall Street is telling you it's coming, okay? Consumers are like, holy crap. Gas has shot up. Inflation has shot up. Interest rates keep going up. And this is wild, wild, wild. The way that our government is positioning this. I'm going to show you some stuff tomorrow that literally some of my videos are aged very, very well. I've been saying that China is going to be the new superpower. Well, you're not going to believe the video I'm going to show you tomorrow. You're not going to believe the video I'm going to show you tomorrow. Literally, the BRICS countries are creating their own international currency. It's coming, Warriors. It's coming. Think about that. New reserve currency, excuse me. So let's dive right into this. So the recession calls are getting louder on Wall Street, but for many of the households and businesses who make up the world's economy, says it's already here. But this was an interesting tweet that was sent to me by a dear friend, and thank you for this. Her name is, she didn't send this to me, but a friend sent me, Jackie Henrich's tweet. It says, bracing for impact. Even if Thursday's GDP report, okay, shows a second consecutive quarter of negative growth, you won't hear Biden administration use the R word, recession word. This is wild. So what constitutes a recession is 2 quarters of declining gross domestic product, or GDP, right? So think about this right now. We have more debt than we have money, and there's spending bills right now, Warriors. There's spending bills. We have to borrow in order to pay for this outlandish spending. So she highlights 2 things in here which are very important. They're basically changing the wording on what a recession is so that the public doesn't get alarmed. Well, some maintain that 2 consecutive quarters of falling GDP constitutes a recession. That is neither the official definition nor the way economists evaluate the state of business cycles. It is unlikely that declined GDP in the first quarter of this year, even if followed by another GDP decline, second quarter, indicates a recession. Okay. So you can read this document yourself. Okay, you can go in here. So what the economy, how do economists determine whether the economy is in a recession? So it's like they're just literally avoiding the freight train that's coming full speed because there's a big monetary change happening. They're switching us to a quantum financial system, an even playing field, a new monetary system, a new ESDR, how they're going to regulate currencies, cryptocurrencies, or regulate, it's going to be on a blockchain, right? But think about this. People like Ray Dalio, right? One of my favorite economists who really come up with facts, figures, numbers, logic. So Ray Dalio says stagflation is likely because the Fed is failing to drive the markets and economy like a good driver. Okay. Economist doomsday is widespread lately, and experts and business leaders predict that record inflation could help set off a recession. Okay. We have record inflation right now. I think it's on Wednesday. They're going to talk about raising the interest rates again. So billionaire investor Ray Dalio from Bridgewater Hedge Fund founder recently added his voice to the mix, writing a link to post on Tuesday that there's nothing more federal regulators can do to avert an economic downturn and that stagflation is likely. In doing so, Ray Dalio joined a chorus of critics who argue that Federal Reserve has acted either too slow or too aggressively with regards to inflation. Okay, now we're going to watch a powerful video. So this is on Ray Dalio's Principle by Ray Dalio. Highly recommend you subscribe to his YouTube channel. We're going to watch a little longer portion of this video because it's very important for you to understand how money actually works, okay? It's really important. When you understand that we have only credit in the system, there's no money. Money doesn't exist anymore. We only have credit in America. So if you hand me $1, that is someone else's debt, okay? If they keep raising interest rates, that slows down people's ability to borrow. If it slows down people's ability to borrow, it literally cripples the economy, showing you that we are moving into a new monetary system. They're literally going to raise interest rates. Inflation's going to be through the roof. They keep saying he's worried about the middle class. Jerome Powell getting wiped out, leverage towards technology. They're going to move the middle class down to the working poor. There's going to be very, very wealthy and very, very poor. Think about China's structure. Technology, very, very wealthy and extremely poor, and it's underneath a monitored society. Okay, so let's listen. And I would get out a pen and paper or a pencil and paper and write some notes. Here we go.
For goods, services, and financial assets. The biggest buyer and seller is the government, which consists of two important parts: a central government that collects taxes and spends money, and a central bank, which is different from other buyers and sellers because it controls the amount of money and credit in the economy. It does this by influencing interest rates and printing new money. For these reasons, as we'll see, the central bank is an important player in the flow of credit. I want you to pay attention to credit. Credit is the most important part of the economy and probably the least understood. It's the most important part because it's the biggest and most volatile part. Just like buyers and sellers go to the market to make transactions, so do lenders and borrowers. Lenders usually want to make their money into more money, and borrowers usually want to buy something they can't afford, like a house or a car, or they want to invest in something like starting a business. Credit can help both lenders and borrowers get what they want. Borrowers promise to repay the amount they borrow, called principal, plus an additional amount called interest. When interest rates are high, there is less borrowing because it's expensive. When interest rates are low, borrowing increases because it's cheaper. When borrowers promise to repay and lenders believe them, credit is created. Any two people can agree to create credit out of thin air. That seems simple enough, but credit is tricky because it has different names. As soon as credit is created, it immediately turns into debt. Debt is both an asset to the lender and a liability to the borrower. In the future, when the borrower repays the loan plus interest, the asset and the liability disappear and the transaction is settled. So why is credit so important? Because when a borrower receives credit, he is able to increase his spending. And remember, spending drives the economy. This is because one person's spending is another person's income. Think about it. Every dollar you spend, someone else earns, and every dollar you earn, someone else has spent. So when you spend more, someone else earns more. When someone's income rises, it makes lenders more willing to lend him money because now he's more worthy of credit. A credit-worthy borrower has two things: the ability to repay and collateral. Having a lot of income in relation to his debt gives him the ability to repay. In the event that he can't repay, he has valuable assets to use as collateral that can be sold. This makes lenders feel comfortable lending him money. So increased income allows increased borrowing, which allows increased spending. And since one person's spending is another person's income, this leads to more increased borrowing, and so on. This self-reinforcing pattern leads to economic growth and is why we have cycles. In a transaction, you have to give something in order to get something. And how much you get depends on how much you produce. Over time, we learn, and that accumulated knowledge raises our living standards. We call this productivity growth.
Okay, so he goes into GDP productivity growth, right? And so things have changed pretty dramatically, right? So in regards to how credit runs through the system when they're raising interest rates, that's what I want you to see. So right now, the Biden administration is going to be raising interest rates, or the Feds are going to be raising interest rates, right? And we have another thing that's coming up. So we have the 3 cycles that I talked about. Ray Dalio talks about different cycles. We have the war narrative. We have the economic narrative. Now we have a climate change narrative. Those are facts, right? I don't think he talks about climate change. But I guarantee you within the next quarter, you're going to see major climate change. Heat waves, hurricanes. They're going to make it look really bad on the media. And what that does is it scares the public, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to push the middle class down into the working poor. They're going to come up with a CBDC, a central bank digital currency. You already have the FedNow wallet. You can look it up, the FedNow services, where that's how you're going to get your stimulus check as we go into a depression or the ability to not be able to repay our debts. And so what's happening is America can't even repay their debt. We have to keep borrowing, right? So when the Americans can't repay their debt, it's time to switch to a monetary system, new monetary system. And that's how far we are down the road. Okay, I want to show you this really quickly and why I'm saying October. Okay, so we have the economic cycles, and every 7 years we've had a downturn, right? Not every, well, yeah, almost every 7 years. And you know the Shemitah. So right here, if you look at 2015, we had the stock market sell-off. Okay, around 2020, we had a little dip in the C word, the beer virus, the C word, right? And then as we head into 2022, we're heading into extreme volatility in cryptocurrency, the stock market, and then the Shemitah ends in September. So the Shemitah started in 2021 September, and it's 1 year until September 2022. So that ends in September, and ironically, the G20 watchdog to propose first global crypto rules in October. So the financial system's going to come collapsing down. And all of a sudden, they told us cryptocurrency was a fraud. It's rat poison. Don't buy it. You're a criminal if you buy cryptocurrency. Jamie Dimon, right? And they're connected to Ethereum the whole time through consensus, through the JPM coin. They have their own coin. They're deep in Ethereum. Wells Fargo's with R3, or Bank of America's with Ripple. You could just go on and on and on. Warren Buffett invested in Nubank. He says he's not in crypto, but he invests in a cryptocurrency friendly bank, right? Then the G20 is about to launch their global crypto regulations. Ripple made the short list for this well, I don't know if it's specifically for this announcement, but ironically, the announcement we made in October on who they're going to use for their central bank digital currency. Okay. And then this is really something you should be paying attention to. Loomis Gillibrand crypto bill, an important step in bringing regulatory clarity to the Bitcoin, stablecoin, and digital assets. So they are on a whirlwind tour right now. Okay. Last month, Wyoming Senator Cynthia Loomis and New York State Senator Christine Gillibrand unveiled their long-term anticipated bipartisan legislative proposal to build federal regulatory framework for cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. If the bill, called Responsible Financial Innovation Act, were to become law, the U.S. could instantly leapfrog its competitors and become the world leader in crypto innovation and inclusion. Okay, so we are heading towards a cryptocurrency blockchain environment. So the very cryptocurrencies you've been told are a fraud are the ones that they're going to be using to run the new monetary system. Bitcoin is going to be a commodity. It's going to be regulated like gold. Things like XRP and XLM, I believe, will be regulated as a currency, and they'll be put underneath probably the SEC. Who knows how they're going to do this? If they regulate XRP as security, I mean, all shit's going to break loose. I don't really understand. Every single country is using XRP as a currency, not a security. XRP is one of the few, I think the only, that has the ability to run the whole monetary system and all the money through it. You're going to have XLM, Algorand. R3 is with Wells Fargo. They already admitted they're with Wells Fargo. Not admitted. I've showed you videos on that stuff. So yes, are a bunch of cryptocurrencies going to get wiped out? Absolutely. It's like any other new asset or new technology. There's a lot of bad actors, a lot of people who just get into the space to get rich quick. Warrior Academy, we teach fundamental, long-term, understanding of how investing actually works. The 5 pillars is what I go over. Okay. Got my leveraged life insurance, precious metals, business, self-development, and we talk about cryptocurrency, right? We dive into it. We're actually launching Airbnb within the next 90 days within our academy. We have an affiliate program where you can build your own business with our academy. We also have our free business coaching group, The Uncommon. You can find all this in the links in my social media profile. So I'd love to see you in the Warrior Academy very, very soon. We're going to be changing some things, so make sure that you get in very, very quickly. I'll put it in the pinned comment down below and everything in the description down below. I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors. If this video impacted you, go ahead and share it with a friend. We'll talk to you soon.